morning, YouTube friends. Happy Wednesday. Alright, so I bought the tabs for the bike online last night, and I just have to run through the drive-thru at the DMV and pick them up. So we're going to do that on the way to work. And I picked the bike up from Indian last week. I believe it was Thursday. Today is Wednesday. And they had the bike so long that the tabs expired. So I rode it home and parked it. So now that I'm about to go pick up the tabs and ride it, you know, we're good. Good to ride. I got my tabs. So I go in the garage and jump on the bike this morning and notice something wasn't quite right with the front of my bike. There's a chrome headlight bezel that goes in the fairing on the front there, and it goes around the headlight, makes it all pretty. The headlight bezel is missing. They forgot to put it back in when they put the bike back together at some point, whether it was from when they did the windshield or whatever, and I didn't notice until just now. So hopefully it's still on Randy's bench at Thunder Alley. And I can just swing through at lunchtime and they can just snap it back in. It's a huge irritant, but really it's an easy mistake to make. I've done the same thing. I forgot to stick a side panel on a bike before. But it still just irks the shit out of me after everything else. All the other bullshit, and then they forget to stick the headlight bezel on too. So let's go get the tabs. And oh man, I've missed that. Yeah, let's go get my tabs and try not to get a speeding ticket and get to work. Yesterday I finished up the little CRF 300 rally with the bent handlebars and the bent brake lever, and got into the little MC85 again and pulled the crankshaft and connecting rod out, because we're going to replace the crankshaft and connecting rod. And then I got into a Norden and started on a valve adjustment on that. Remember when valve adjustments were easy? They're not anymore. They're designed to be as much of a pain in the ass as possible so that you won't do it yourself. And so instead of being a nightmare for you, it's a nightmare for me, the mechanic. And I assure you, it is purely because they wanted to make it more difficult. Used to be there was a screw and a lock nut in the end of the rocker arm, and you adjusted the gap between the rocker arm and the valve with the screw and locked it down with the lock nut. There was a little access port in the top of the frickin' rocker box. Easy. Feeler gauge, a wrench, and a screwdriver. Good to go. Now they use shims. They use little metal pucks, and you have to actually remove the camshaft and change the shims. Oh, there's the place. To adjust the valve. Just unnecessarily difficult for no reason other than to make it difficult. Missed my turn. All right, new license plate tabs installed. Off we go to work. And my front tire's low too, that's not nice. Thought she didn't feel right. Let's see, yeah, so gotta finish up the valve adjustment on that idiotic fucking machine. Gotta take out the cams. So you undo the timing chain tensioner, loosen the timing chain, take the cams out, replace the shims, put everything back together, measure again, and if it's not right, you get to do it all over again. And because the valves are too tight, not too loose, I get to make an educated guess on which shims to use and hope I'm right. Because the reason it's in for a valve adjustment is because it starts hard. So I checked the valve clearances, and the intake valves have no clearance. So they're probably being held open slightly. And that's why it's hard to start. I don't understand why that happens. I don't know how I don't know how the valve clearance gets tighter when everything is a bunch of metal all against each other and nothing can move. But for some reason they do. I could see the clearances opening up as camshafts and the little rocker spacer fucking stupid thing wears. But I don't know how they get tighter, but they do. I don't know if the end of the valve stretches, which I don't know how it would, because it's always right up against the camshaft. But I got nothing. But that's what I got going on today. Once I finish that, I've got to start putting that 1290 Super Adventure bat together. We're supposed to have the parts today. So if all my transmission parts come in, I'll be able to get the transmission fixed and start putting that engine back together and get back in the bike. And hopefully on my lunch break I can run over to Indian and get my headlight bezel put back on. And I still have to call the people I bought the people I financed the Road King through and find out what they want to do about the title, since they sent me their title. Here's the title. It says we own it. Gee, thanks, that's useful for me. The really awesome thing is I work all the exact same hours as every fucking buddy else that I need to deal with. So I have to try and get everything done on my fucking little 20-minute lunch break. And on my fucking little 20-minute lunch break, I'm usually just kind of wiped out and just want to sit down and relax for a minute and breathe and eat my lunch. So it's, yeah. But here we are. Hope you all have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.